Marseille, France is the setting for this year's Still Timbersports World Champions Trophy. Despite the beautiful location, the city is host to the most grueling Still Timbersports event there is. And only the top athletes will test their mettle against the best in the world. Representing Australia is Queenslander Mitch Argent, who has been waiting for this opportunity for a long time. In the small Queensland town of Blackbutt, Mitch Argent is doing big things.
Yeah, Blackbutt's home for me, and you know, everyone knows me. It's only a small town. Yeah, everyone's supporting me and sending me wishes through on Facebook and whatnot. So yeah, it's nice to know all them people from home are watching and supporting me.
Position number 1, Mitch Argent was first, only by a freckle, Mitch, I can tell you.
And we wish Mitch all the best over there representing our country.
His steely determination has really come to the fore, and Mitch is now at the top of his game in the Timbersports world.
Argent gets one final blow, and that's it for Australia. Holy smokes, folks, and it's a new world record, 46-45. The Australians are the new world champions in the team competition.
In Tasmania in 2017, for the first Australian Champions Trophy event, Mitch overcame tough competition and previous world champions to make it to the final. Dusty has had enough of an advantage against the powerhouse Argent in the final discipline. It's going to come down to the final few blows. Argent steers. There it is. It's Argent. Wow, what a performance. That was incredible. In Sydney in 2018, Mitch also took on the best, making it to the grand final once again. They're at it swing for swing, blow for blow. Who is going to get the turn first? It's so close. They turn together. He took on three-time World Champions Trophy winner Brad DeLosa, who is eager to regain his championship and defend his world title. Who's going to take it? In a tightly fought final, Mitch had the edge. It's Argent. Wow, what a victory. This win in Sydney qualified Mitch for the Champions Trophy in Marseille.
Looking to get over to Marseille and competing in the best of the world and show them how good these Aussies are.
Mitch will be building on a strong legacy as the Australian Champions Trophy contender on the international stage. In 2014, Brad DeLosa took his first Champions Trophy win.
Yeah, it's great, awesome. Such a great competition here, and I was lucky enough then to get quicker and quicker each time and come out with the win.
Brad backed it up for his second win.
Who's going to win? You got to see his second number!
Brad DeLosa just tends to get stronger as the event goes along.
In 2016, Braden Meyer took the title in Austria. In 2017, Brad DeLosa was the first to win 3 Champions Trophy titles.
DeLosa's top is loose, and DeLosa gets it in a 1:02.71. Oh my goodness, how close was that? What a final here in Hamburg. Brad DeLosa just by the hair of his chinny chin chin.
With that momentum behind him, Mitch is aiming for similar success on his own merits.
I put a lot of pressure on myself going over there, you know, like obviously Braden and Brad have won it before, and it's my turn this year, so you know, I put a fair bit of pressure on myself to do well and to succeed, so hopefully I can do that.
In Hoorn, Holland, Mitch has the opportunity to hone his skills and perfect his campaign at the Chopperoos training camp.
Here at the training camp, Mitch is just really working on transitioning from one discipline to the other, a little bit of work on his single buck and just making sure that he gets everything right with the stock saw. Chopping's his strongest discipline, so it's just chopping a few blocks, getting over the jet lag and putting a few good runs together. Mitch is only going to do a couple of run-throughs here at the training camp. You know, we've only had our Australian Champions Trophy 5 weeks ago, so he's done all the training there. He's been putting in a lot of hard yards back at home in his training ring, and so it's just going through the motions here and making sure he's ready for the big day.
In this grueling event that consists of 4 disciplines, the stock saw, underhand chop, single buck, and standing block, Coach Jamie Head will focus on perfecting Mitch's game.
Mitch's biggest weakness in the Champions Trophy format is definitely his single saw. He seems to struggle a little bit with the single sawing, but it's not so bad in the Champions Trophy because it seems to, when he's a bit tired, saw maybe a little bit better. He doesn't maybe try as hard, and it seems to go okay for him, but that's definitely his weakest event.
By the time you get to that single buck, you're sort of hurting, and then you got to try and finish it, so it's quite a difficult thing to do.
With the competition coming up, can Mitch Argent iron out the kinks in his campaign for his first run in the time trial?
Will this be the discipline that shoots him in the foot? I hope not.
The Chopperoos have landed on European soil, and Mitch Argent is gearing up for the competition at the Timbersports Champions Trophy in Marseille. With only a few days to go before the competition, Coach Jamie Head is on the front foot with helping Mitch perfect his game.
Jamie Head's come over to give us a hand with the sawing mainly and help us out as a coach and mentor sort of role for us. And have someone there like Jim, it's a big help for us.
Yeah, at the training camp, Mitch has been really focused on his single sawing. His chopping's quite good, but he's had to work quite hard to get his single saw up to standard.
For me, the single buck's the most difficult. It's the easiest one of the things to stuff up. You know, if you jag in the single buck, you know, you can lose so many seconds and you can bust the ring off. So there's so much that can go wrong for it in the single buck. It's the hardest discipline of the Champions Trophy to do. Yeah, my stock saw, I don't think I need to improve too much. It's just doing everything right, you know, so you don't get disqualified.
15 seconds to one.
It's probably the easiest one to get disqualified in. So the stock saw in the Champion Trophy run, there's a few things to remember. First thing is have your fingers across the line and make sure you got a full, complete disc before you put the saw down, and it's got to be turned off, and then you got to rip your earmuffs and glasses off and get into the underhand. Standing block chops what you finish with the Champions Trophy, and it's my strongest event. It's good for me to have it at the end there when everyone's hurting, and I come across with them. I'm pretty confident that I'll be able to roll anyone in the standing block at that time. So it's definitely good having the standing block last for me.
Mitch's standing block experience needs no introduction. As part of the Chopperoos, Mitch has brought the team home in the World Championships a number of times. This should send a clear message to his competitors and is the ace Mitch has up his sleeve.
Now they're both on standing block, but Australia already on the other side of their standing block. A quick catch and a final blow, and Australia is through with a new world record of 46.91. The records are falling fast and furious here in Stuttgart.
Mitch Argent's one of the greatest competitors in the Champions Trophy going around at the minute. I guess his strength is just when he gets to that standing block, after being so tired, how he can just blast it off, and that seems to be the difference between him and everybody else. Yeah, so the game plan for Mitch is obviously to try and have a safe run, but obviously trying to qualify number one as well. That'll give him a little bit better run through in that number one position. And once he gets that done, then we'll just reevaluate round by round as to what's working, what's not working, and what we think is going to be the best for him.
My strategy in the Champions Trophy is to start flat out and get faster.
Mitch might not look like he's the fittest guy up there, but you know, he's definitely one of the most powerful. And when he's up there, he's got that Queenslander heart, and he'll just rip through those blocks, and he's got a never say die attitude. Champions Trophy, Australia have got a rich history. Brad Delota's won it 3 times. Braden Myers won it once. So Mitch has got some big shoes to fill, but I'm sure he's got what it takes.
We are in Marseille in the south of France at this year's Champions Trophy, and this year's best still Timbersports athletes will go head-to-head to win the toughest still Timbersports event there is. Vying for the title is rookie champion from Sweden, Ferry Svan, American powerhouse Arden Koga, European contender Simon Bond from Great Britain, the Italian stallion Paolo Vicenzi, heavy-hitting Pole Michael Debecki, local French favourite Pierre Pouberet, Armand Kugler from Austria, 9-time world champion New Zealander Jason Wynyard, finals contender Czech Martin Komarek, last year's runner-up Canadian Sterling Hart, and Australian contender Queenslander Mitch Argent. The top 12 athletes will now compete for a spot in the top 4. Those who qualify in the top 4 will progress directly through to the quarterfinals. The remaining 8 athletes will battle it out in the last chance round in a do-or-die battle for the remaining 4 quarterfinal spots. First up in the time trial, Ferry Svan showed the form that won him the Rookie World Championship with a 1-minute 35.76 time. Simon Bond just a fraction behind with 1-minute 35.82. Newcomer Michael Debecki smashed the previous times he whipped through, really setting the pace. Paolo Vicenzi gave his all, scoring 1-minute 31. While local Frenchman Pierre Pouberet showed his form, completing the course in 1-minute 30 seconds.
Mitch is up in the next heat, and the wood's looking pretty soft. You know, we've got a time in there about 1-minute 10. So I think Mitch's calibre will be looking to go under a minute and set the fastest time of the day. And then he's got 4 guys to come after him. So just hope that time holds up to put him #1 spot.
All right, our next athlete coming out onto stage for the time trials here, Mitchell Argent from Australia. He's looking to do well here. He was a member of the World Championship teams in 2015 and 16, so he's got a pedigree when it comes to this event. But this one is a little bit different here because he is going to be competing in 4 disciplines all together here on stage. Now, his best discipline is the standing block chop, and some people say he's a one-trick pony. Well, we'll find out today if he in fact is a one-trick pony or if he is a multi-talented athlete in all 4 of these disciplines. Remember, he's got to get through the stock saw, then the underhand chop. The standing block chop will be the finishing event, his strongest one, and in between that, he's got to make that saw that he's setting up right now, that great big single buck, that 2-meter long saw. He's got to slide that thing through that block and get a nice disc. So Mitchell Argent, 24 years old, from Australia, up next. And he says, you know, his words, if you want to be the best at a sport, then you got to look at other guys like Jason Wynyard or Brad Delota, who was a member of the team that won 2015 and 16 Team World Champion, which he was a part of. So getting ready here, and we are on to time trial for Mitchell Argent as he warms up his stock saw. Now, the idea here is to blow out any carbon that may stop the saw from starting cleanly, although these MS661 saws are pretty reliable. Getting started, here we go.
Athletes, ready! Stand to your timber. 3, 2, 1, go!
Important to get a good, clean start and quick. Now, it's very, very tough because these guys have to have precision, stamina, endurance is big, big, big key here as Mitchell gets through that stock saw really quickly, and look at the rapid hits he's taking on this underhand chop. The Australian's known especially for this, and boy, he isn't looking weak at all. Great time so far as Mitchell Argent hammers away here. He just needs to split that block, and there it goes. Sets his axe off to the side, and now he moves to the single buck. Will this be the discipline that shoots him in the foot? I hope not. He gets a couple of sticks there, but then finally gets into the flow as Mitchell really starts to work that great big 2-meter long single buck across that block. Will he get a good clean disc? It looks like it's going to drop nicely there. Time is looking very good, and here comes his strong discipline. Standing block chop. Gets a little hook up there, but then starts to move that axe well. He's not quite at a minute, and his time, it looks like it's going to be good. He's quick to the other side, and this may be the best time of the day so far. Will he take over top spot in the time trial? He's got to beat 1:14.14, and he may well do it. He's got to get a couple hits more, and it looks like he's one more to go. It's done. Now the clock did stop before that block dropped, but he did take one extra blow, so it looked like he did do a fair hit, and I don't see a flag on the play. It's going to be a close call, though, as the timers will have to double check that. Absolutely. Let's find out if it's good. All right, taking a look back at the slow-mo here. Mitchell with a really good start with that stock saw. Nice, clean pressure all the way down. You don't want to put too much pressure on that saw because you might stall the chain or the saw motor, which would be a disaster, but he had a very good cut there. And then onto that underhand chop, and you could see how quickly, even in the slow-mo, he is moving that axe. He was on board and off that thing quick as a wink. Here at the beginning of that single buck, he got a little bit stuck, but then once he got into the flow, he kept that smooth roll going. And I think that probably some good training with the Team Aussie has helped him there. And this is the discipline where he is definitely the strongest, although he looked really good in all 4 of the disciplines. But the standing block, he moved over to the other side super quick. And here's that final blow. It was a little bit questionable. The block was off. He just needed to strike it one last little time, and that was a good time.
After his time trial run, Mitch Argent sits in first position. But with Sterling Hart, Martin Komarak, Arden Kogar, and 9-time world champion New Zealander Jason Wynyard still to set a time, will Mitch be relegated outside the top 4? We're in Marseille for the Steel Timbersports Champions Trophy, and Australia's Mitch Argent has so far posted the fastest qualification time.
And this may be the best time of the day, so I've got to get a couple hits more, and it looks like he's one more to go. It's done!
The top 4 athletes in the time trial are still to hit the leaderboard. Will Mitch stay in the top 4 and progress to the quarterfinals, or will he be relegated to the last chance round? First up, Arden Kogar from the US.
Here we have Arden Kogar, has been training incredibly hard in the off-season to get to this point. He looks great. He's super strong coming over to the single buck. This is a big discipline for him. He got to get the flow going. He did a great job as well with the 3rd fastest time of 1:12.30. And I imagine we're going to see some of these times drop down below the minute mark with the adrenaline flowing. Then we have the Czech master, Martin Komarak, 2nd fastest time yesterday. As we see him starting off with the stock saw, that Steel MS661. No modifications on that thing at all. It's the same saw that you can buy in your local dealer store if you want one. And he did a great job here. Stores that axe and gets moving on to the single buck. The single buck is a discipline that he has a love-hate relationship with. He can do well, but here is where he really shines, is that standing block chop. Final blow does it for Martin Komarak with a time of 1:11.53. And then, of course, Sterling Hart, who came so close in 2017 to winning it all at the Champions Trophy in Hamburg. And he is the favorite here for sure. And he, like Martin Komarak, had a love-hate relationship with motor saws, and he has started to love them a little bit, but he is very, very strong when it comes to the axe disciplines. The kid is in shape. And like I said, the face of Steel Timbersports at the moment. He had a great time of 1:05.17, said in the interview afterwards that he probably could have even shaved off 5 or 6 seconds. So I imagine that we'll see the times improving as the day goes on here. And it was this point right here where that top block just held on by a thread.
At the end of the time trial, Sterling Hart takes the top spot with a 1 minute 5 second time. Czech Martin Komarak takes second and American Arden Kogart takes third. Australian Mitch Argent holds his position and rounds out the top 4. They will now feed directly into the quarterfinals with the bottom 8 athletes battling for a quarterfinals berth. Next time, the competition heats up in Marseille as the best Stihl Timbersports athletes take aim at the title. Will Sterling Hart go one better than last year's second place?
And Sterling Hart does it!
Can Mitch Argent take on the best in the world to continue Australia's dominance? Who will take home the Champions Trophy title?
He just cut through that log like butter.
Tune in next time for some more Stihl Timbersports action.